Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant, and your email might be a little out of control right now. So here's a simple 3-step process to force email to actually begin to be a time saver and resource to getting things done as opposed to a time waster and just source of stress and anxiety, right? So timestamps below along with some other helpful videos to being more productive throughout the rest of your day. So the very first rule or step will be implementing the 90-minute rule, and that is you only give email a maximum, absolute maximum of 90 minutes of your day. Now, how you time this or how you plan it is almost completely up to you. But what's most important is, number one, your time in your inbox never goes over 90 minutes. And as you go through the other 2 steps, you'll see how you'll actually be able to reduce this, but no more than 90 minutes per day. And you go at least 2 hours in between checking your email. So no more in and out of your email every 20 to 30 minutes. Put it in its place. And so what I recommend doing is having 3 distinct times throughout your day where you check your email. I like checking it immediately in the morning. And when I do that immediate morning check, it's less than 10 minutes and I only look for 2 things. Emails from real people that are urgent, and then emails from financial institutions telling me that I owe them money, right? So those are really the only 2 things that I look for in the morning. And then I schedule a time around noon and then a time at the end of the day. But what's most important is you're scheduled and you're not constantly checking your inbox. So that is the very first step, and arguably the most important step out of all of these in terms of making sure that you put email in its place and you start taking control of your time and treating your inbox as a to-do list. That is other people's to-do list, not your to-do list, right? So when you open up that inbox, you're looking at everything that people are asking of you as opposed to what you actually wanted to get done for the day. And speaking of that, when you actually do go through your inbox, step number 2 here is going to be following the 6-step priority flow. And this is when you do your more in-depth email check. Hopefully it's later in the morning or towards the afternoon so that your morning time is actually spent on the productive work that pushes your professional life or your business forward. And this 6-step flow helps you identify what's most important. And when you run out of time, you just run out of time. And hopefully you've gotten to all of the most important emails first. So here's how the flow works, and this is how I check my inbox. It might be a little different for you depending upon your business or profession. So the very first one we have here is clients. And these are the people paying the bills, and their questions always take priority. So I use a bright red tag in my inbox. So when I'm quickly looking through, anytime a client emails us, it's bright red, and I know those are the emails that I need to answer first. So once all of those questions are answered, or I've gone ahead and created a task in my task manager to follow up or do something later, I move on to the next priority, which is going to be the active leads. And so these are current sales conversations that I'm having, and I'm seeing if they're a good fit for us and our business before we hop on a call to finalize any details. And then the third priority is going to be the new leads, right? So I always make sure I take care of the current leads that we have before I start opening up new emails from new potential clients or customers. And then number 4 is going to be finances. So this is all of your credit cards, your banking, everything that's not on auto pay, right? So you need to make sure that everything is actually paid. I know last month I actually had, for the first time, we had a credit card that just slipped under the radar and auto pay wasn't on for some reason. And man, that was kind of a mess, but I digress. So there are important emails that you can miss and really screw things up. But this priority flow should help you at least make sure that you see those credit card emails as opposed to get stuck reading a newsletter that doesn't actually really matter, right? And so number 5 is going to be all of the robots. And when I say robots, I mean automated updates from your current products or services, not marketing emails. Marketing emails are going to be number 6. They're last on this list because they're really the least important, right? So these are just all of the updates from your current service providers. As an example, one of our hosting solutions is SiteGround, and they email us once or twice a month letting us know that our site hasn't been hacked and they've updated our WordPress themes. And so those I actually create an automatic tag for, which I'll get to in step number 3 here. And then I just read them and they'll tell me if something's broken. Like last month, one of our themes was broken. So I went and fixed it and then moved on with my inbox check, right? So those are the ones that you want to look at well before any other marketing emails, which is going to be number 6. So number 6, you're probably not going to get to, and that's okay. One of the biggest reasons that marketing emails work is because we all have this fear of missing out, right? We all think that if we miss this email, we might miss a sale or some sort of promotion, or we just want to know what's going on in the world. And if that sounds like you, there are plenty of services out there that will actually alert you when something you care about goes on sale. And really, at the end of the day, Cyber Monday, Prime Day if you're in the US, and then Black Friday are really the biggest sales of the year. So the rest of the time, you kind of can just ignore all those marketing emails, even though part of our business is sending marketing emails. But read ours, right? But not everybody else's. I'm kidding. Just make sure your time isn't being sucked up by reading all of those emails that are from robots, that aren't from a financial institution or one of your current service providers giving you updates of terms of service or whether or not something's broken and needs your attention. And so that's the 6-step priority flow. And it's really important. And there's a big warning here that if you don't have time to get to number 5 and 6, that's okay. That's just the reality of it, right? Inbox 0 is something that's going to take a little while. And if you already have thousands of emails, then just delete everything from that's more than a month old and then start this process. Don't try and go back and categorize and look at all the emails that have already come in. It's too late. Just let them go and look and push forward. So speaking of what to do when you're pushing forward, step number 3 is going to be using these 7 tag automations. And so I have 7 main tags that I recommend you use as well. And of course, you can change these out for whatever your business situation is, but I recommend having no more than 10 main tags. After 10, you're probably going to becoming a little too OCD and it might actually start to be counterproductive, but I do have a lot of sub tags, which is why I recommend only having 10. So let's go through each one of these 7 tags in detail. The first one we have is administrative. This is going to be all of your accounting, your vendor receipts, your legal information, maybe some travel information. So everything that actually needs to be cataloged and stored because you need to come back to it later. So this is the one folder that I recommend actually creating a lot of subfolders for because it's going to save you a ton of headache when it comes to tax time or when you're looking for that oh so important document or email, I should say. And then the next one is going to be team. So these are all of the people that I'm working with internally, or I have an external collaborator. Now, I highly recommend you have all of your actual team communication inside of your project manager or a different application, so you're not getting internal things mixed up with all of the external to-do lists. But if you have to use email for whatever reason, this is where that team folder will come in. And then the next folder or tag is going to be content. And so this is actually where I file away all of the questions I get from emails that we send out and questions we get from people who've come to the website and filled out the contact form. So pretty much subscriber questions. And the next one we have is sales funnel. So this is going to be anything under the sun that has to do with sales goes in this folder. So prospects, leads, questions about your products or services, all of that goes there. And it's a really great resource because when it comes to making new marketing materials or writing new ads, you can come into this folder and see the typical questions that you're getting so you can improve your marketing messages or your marketing emails moving forward. And the next one we have is customers. And so this is where I put all of the information that has to do with clients. So every client has their own tag, or if we're selling a digital product, then we go ahead and have all of the student questions go into here as well. I also just put anything that comes from our affiliate partners in here as well because it deals with delivering products and services. Now the last 2 are going to be relatively simple. We have newsletters, all of that automated noise for some reason you don't want to unsubscribe from, and then you, of course, any personal emails go there. And so that does it for the simple 7-step tagging system. And of course you can go up to 10, and I highly recommend starting with these 7 or 10, and then of course you can always create more subfolders as time goes on. But really, just start with 7 to 10. It makes it a lot easier to begin to control and tame your inbox. You can just spend 10 to 20 minutes a day going through previous emails, of course, making sure that your hard cutoff is a month. You just auto archive or delete everything from beyond that point. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you have some better ideas on how to finally tame the inbox and hopefully, just hopefully, make it to inbox 0 someday. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive productivity videos just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.